Previously on Eat Your Content.
I'll never forget that moment that I met Alan Ducasse. He's got the most Michelin stars in the world. Whether if it matters to you or not, to even retain one or get one is extremely hard on its own. So for this guy to be there, it was just incredible. And the thing is, there was no still camera that I could have found. And usually there's a photographer coming around, taking photos of us, doing stuff. And I couldn't find it. And I was like, you know what, stuff it. I'm just going to look deep down to the camera and break that fourth wall because, I need to get this documented.
Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
Whether if they're going to show it on TV or not, I'll take a photo of that footage.
Welcome to the Eat Your Content podcast. I'm your host, Rich Herrera. Thank you for pushing play on my pod. I appreciate that. Just a reminder to follow me on socials at Rich Herrera and at Eat Your Content on your social media channels, and to make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to know when new episodes are coming up. Today, I am very happy to be reconnecting with Chef Buddha Loh. He was on my podcast previously, episode 22, I believe, so you can go check that out. He is the two-time Top Chef winner, back-to-back. It is the only back-to-back and probably the only back-to-back winner that'll happen for a while on Top Chef. But since then, he has been on a tear in Tribeca. You remember him from the show, obviously, but since then, he's shepherded HÖSO through a reinvention in Tribeca in New York, navigating setbacks, and he just earned his first Michelin star a couple of days ago. So we were fresh off of that announcement. So I want to focus on that process, what changed in the kitchen and the leadership needed to get Michelin's nod, and how a chef balances creativity with the exacting standards that Michelin rewards. Chef Buddha, welcome back to the show.
Hey, well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you back on. First, congratulations on all the success post Top Chef. You got your first Michelin star. How's it feel? Are you still riding that high a little bit?
It feels incredible. It's only been a couple of days ago. It still feels surreal. It's a different win feeling because when I won both Top Chefs, you get kind of just like, you win, you don't tell anybody, nobody knows about it, and then they play the episode like 7-8 months later, and then you can finally celebrate. So this caught us off guard. We didn't know what we were getting. We got invited. So you kind of suspect that you are getting something. So you are kind of already celebrating that high that you've got invited. And then you're still nervous because you don't know if you're just there to warm a seat for someone, So
Yeah.
it's been incredible. It's just like, it's hard because in Top Chef, you had time to develop your win, you understand it, and the floodgates just opened up because no one knew what was happening. The whole world found out at the same time, and so everything's coming at the same time. So it's a lot more overwhelming than winning Top Chef.
Yeah, I'm sure. After winning Top Chef twice, what shifted your personal goals in your restaurant career? When did Michelin become the target? Was it always the target, and then Top Chef kind of helped you get there, or was it something you concentrated on post Top Chef? And you're like, okay, now I'm going to do this.
So Michelin was always the target, but how do I navigate it was probably the hardest part because I had this dream as a kid, but I lived in Australia where Michelin doesn't exist and still doesn't exist. And how does that all happen? I have to literally remove my life from somewhere else to get that recognition. And not to say that we don't have award systems in Australia, we do, but they're not internationally known as Michelin stars. As you would go, okay, well, I've got a chef's hat. No one's going to understand what you got a chef's hat, even though because it's a 3-hat system. No one really understands it. There's so many different guides out there, but if there's one that's the most respected, the most coveted, is the Michelin star. So I've got one life, and I've kind of gone, I've got my chef bucket list that I want to complete, and that was something on my bucket list, and it's been on my bucket list for a very long time. And I had to do all these different things to get there, and Top Chef was definitely a stepping stone. It was a huge part of my career, but it was a stepping stone to get my overall goal of getting a Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah. So, I mean, would would the word obsession be the correct word? And when a chef sets his sights on Michelin and going through it, is obsession the right word to describe how you surround your life around that?
Yeah, I mean, obsession, definitely plays a little part of it. You don't go for it if you're not passionate about it, because there's no point. You got to remember the guide is not uh, for everyone. It's you don't open up a cafe and hope to get a Michelin star one day. You open up a cafe to produce great coffee, do great breakfast, you know, but it's never going to get a Michelin star. So those are the choices that you make. A Michelin star commitment um, is something that takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication to. And not to say that everything else doesn't have a lot of time and dedication, but it's a different outlook, and it's the sort of discipline that you kind of walk into your workplace and you go into. It's not for everyone. I can see it's not for everyone. There's a lot of people that fall off that Michelin tree, whether if they've owned one, earned one, or even just worked in one. But I enjoy it. I see the value in it. I've worked in Michelin star restaurants my whole life. I am trying to better myself every day, and I see that as a platform of being able to do that in a different in this sort of environment. Whereas, you know, it c in the restaurant world, it can be kind of restricting when you are kind of tied down to something that can't change all the time. So, and that's fine. I am tied to those sort of restaurants as well. I don't want my favorite place to take off their fried rice or their burger or something like that. But in a restaurant like this where seasonal things do matter and you do have to take off things and reinvent yourself, as you can see, you know, Michelin is excited by that, by the reinvention or people coming up with things and re-updating themselves. For example, the Paul Bocuse restaurant, who had 3 stars for a very long time, probably the poster child for Michelin stars. They took their 3rd star away from him while he was still alive, and he passed away a couple years later. But not to say that was why it happened, but you do have to reinvent yourself. That cheesecake with the toffee garnish and the teardrop coulis, it now looks like, you know, from something that was in 1985 cookbook of 3 Michelin stars, is very much almost like your 2025 old school cafe.
Yeah. But speaking of reinvention, HÜSO kind of did that to set itself up for Michelin recognition. It started as a small tasting room, right, in Marky's Caviar, and now it's like a fuller dining experience. You got a 12-course tasting menu. Caviar is obviously the signature, kind of the star of that tasting menu. Walk me through the concept evolution of where it started, and then what you had to do to set yourself up for Michelin success to transform what was just a tasting room to this 12 course tasting menu restaurant now.
So it started off when I was at 11 Madison Park, and it was the number one restaurant in the world at the time. It's 3 Michelin stars. And I wanted to stay in New York City. My wife wanted to stay in New York City, and we fell in love with it. And I said to myself, well, I don't want to waste my time in a way where like I will go work for someone else and gain them recognition and they get Michelin stars and just be a part of the team anymore. I want this for myself. And so I set myself on a journey of like, I think I can do this. Think I can get a restaurant in New York City and get a Michelin star one day. And how I did it is totally like, I don't know how I was supposed to do it, but it just kind of felt organic and led me to the right decisions to get to that point. I had to cook in the back of a retail shop for 5 tables a night, doing it all by myself, sometimes cooking for one person in that dining room, and really have to grind and try and get your name out there, try and persuade the owners of the caviar store that I'm on the right track, we're doing things correctly, even though, you know, we'd be not busy. and I was still doing all this amazing food. So it's literally a day-to-day grind to get this goal and get this achievement. When I did Top Chef, I knew I wanted to open up a restaurant, but I said to myself, but what would the restaurant be and why? And would I change the name and the concept of what I'm doing? And I thought to myself, during that time I was doing Top Chef, I was in this caviar store for 5 years, and I heard some of the most wildest comments I've ever had. I had someone who, on the first day of the menu of a new menu, which is usually not the best day because I'm still trying to figure everything out, walk out and say, "This I ate at Asteria Francescana last week. This was better." And
Mm.
and those sort of compliments almost make me fall down to the ground because I'm cooking a whole tasting menu by myself. I've got an induction and an oven, and they're sitting in a hallway, and they're comparing it to a number one restaurant in the world in Italy, with that has 3 Michelin stars. And when those sort of things happen, I said, "Well, what I'm doing here is very special. I've got an identity. This is the cuisine of HÜSO. Um, I need to give it the proper send off. I don't think I could live life where I just called this restaurant something else and did a different concept. This place needed a proper restaurant. The, everything that it ever should to celebrate the achievements that I did in that retail store." So I still kept the retail storefront and converted into slash a host stand because we need a host stand anyway. And then I made sure the dining room was nice and airy and a little bit bigger. It's not a big dining room, but it's spacious for the tables. And you've got all this natural light pouring in because it's a uh, corner of Dwayne and Greenwich and Tribeca. And so by having that, I'm able to give everything that I ever wanted to the guests that come and dine with me at the original location. Because every time I'd see them get all dressed up to come sit in this hallway dining room, I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had something better for them. I wish I had the wine list, the cocktails, the service, the plateware, all this sort of stuff to look after my guest. It's like, and so when I came up with it, um, this is what ended up happening. I went through, I dare say, 20 plus locations before I found this one. And I was so happy that I found it. And it literally, from the first hour of walking through here, it turned into reality. Nothing changed. Everything what I thought that this restaurant could be is now.
Yeah, I mean, the feeling you must have had when you were operating out of that small little area and then it clicked, and then you knew you had something special, and then the search is on for the space. Are we sitting in HÜSO now? Is that where you're
Yes,
at?
yes, we are at Huso right now.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, I wanna talk about, I've always been curious about the Michelin journey in and of itself, the process of it all, because it's kept under wraps. It's fairly mysterious. There is a new docuseries on Apple TV called Knife Edge, Chasing Michelin Stars. I don't know if you've caught any of those episodes or not, but it goes really deep inside of the Michelin journey. It's fascinating. So I'm glad you were able to come on because I want to ask somebody from a first person perspective, like how all this works. So when exactly is quote unquote Michelin season? Is it 365 days a year, or is there a certain group of months that inspectors are coming?
I actually got asked by Gordon to do that show, Knife
Oh
Edge.
wow.
So we were interviewed in the process, but we were not opening at the time that they were filming everything. They filmed everything
Ah.
last year, but they were all very interested in it. I mean, and if they did do it, if we were opening a year before, obviously we could have done the thing that they wanted to see was, watch a restaurant go from no stars to 1 star, and we would have been the New York edition, but they did Noxu instead, um, which is really cool. But yeah, so that's a little insight there. I did a show with Gordon, and Gordon wanted me to do it, and he pushed for a studio to get it done. But when you talk about Michelin and how it works, the journey really begins from when you're a cook. You don't just go all of a sudden one day I want to, you know, halfway through. There's a lot of dedication, time, and sacrifice that you have to put in the kitchen before you even get to that stage of going, I'm going to go for a Michelin star, because it doesn't happen like that. All the restaurants like that, the chefs have 10, 15, 20 years experience learning under different chefs, and there's like a lot of dedication that you have to put to it. But in terms of Michelin season, this is what I love about the guide. You don't know.
Oh, really? You
As
never know.
you just don't know anything. You think you know about it, but you don't. No one knows anything. There's a restaurant down the road that just changed their chef. That was one of the 3 restaurants that gained a Michelin star this year, and it's Muku. And I believe they changed chefs 2 months ago, and they got a Michelin star.
Mm.
But to me, 2 months ago, we're in November now. That's September. I thought Michelin season was already over by then, because they're not they've gone back and already started putting together the guide and who they think is going to get a Michelin star. And what I respect about this sort of process is that you don't know who the people are, so you can't treat them better. You can try. I mean, there's a lot of publications. I mean, all publications, I would say, at this point, don't have this incognito inspector. You look at New York Times now, Pete Wells was this sort of person that we all had like this one photo of that was 20 years ago. We don't even know what he looks like. But now New York Times has 4 restaurant critics, and all their photos are posted everywhere, so you know what they look like. Michelin, you don't have a photo of anyone. I been in the industry for so long, no one can tell me, "Oh, this person's an inspector." No. I I don't have the face to this guide system. It's also like Eda has the same thing, Infatuation has the same thing. They post all the people that review their food. So what's good about it is that not only does this guide is the most prestigious of the world, it also keeps to its truth of making sure that it's a incognito system, and that you have to be on your toes and treat everyone like an inspector. And that's what some restaurants don't do. They like to treat the people that they know who are coming in, but because if you want to get that Michelin recognition, you have to be consistent, and you can't just give out, you know, a slow Tuesday night, the worst service, but then be on your A game on a Saturday night and perform at the best every day. Every night needs to be a Saturday night performance. Every day you have to bring your A game. And at the price that we charge our menu, that's the bare minimum that our guests deserve.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Michelin inspectors for just a second, because I don't think there's a group of restaurant reviewers more protected than the witness protection program than these Michelin inspectors. Like you said, nobody knows who they are. It's very secret, very hush hush. On the docu-series, Knife's Edge, they even said that they can't tell their spouse, like what they're doing.
Wow.
And it's very secretive. So, but the show kind of, they look at the restaurants that were featured, look at the reservations, and there's this kind of level of paranoia. They see a solo diner like on a Friday night or something, and then that person is getting like the best service out of the whole room. Did you find yourself doing that or around this time, trying to earn a Michelin star, looking at reservations and going, okay, this let's put an asterisk next to this one. This one could be an inspector based on what you see in the reservation.
No, because back to what I said, I think it's I say to my staff, and I said it since day one, I just want you to just do the job. Even if we do know that New York Times is here because we know their face and whatnot. I'm not asking you to go over the top. I'm just asking you to do your job. That's it. Just do the task that we're supposed to set out to do, because our task, I much rather be judged on how we do for everyone than how we do for one person. Because if we are rated 3 Michelin stars because we treat the inspectors really well, it's actually kind of sucks for our business, because they're going to realize that you know, a lot of customers are going to come in and they're going to have that expectation that we treat everyone like this king because we treated the Michelin reviewer really well. And then they're going to come in with higher expectations and then they're going to slag us down. I want everyone to have, I want this table to have the same experience as the other table, and the other table to have the same experience as the other table. You know, the journey through the food, the service, the personal touches that we do, everyone should receive the same amount. Like over at Madison Park, I think 1/3 of the table, 1/3 of the dining room every night gets invited to the kitchen. Sorry, listen. Yeah, gets invited to the kitchen, and that's okay because it's a massive restaurant. It's 170 people. We can't invite everyone, but for us, we invite everyone because I don't. Even if you do decline it and you don't want to go in and you want to spend time with your friend and catch up and seeing the kitchen is not of interest to you, that's fine. But we're gonna do that for everyone. Everyone's gonna get the same treatment. If it's your birthday, you'll get an extra dessert. You know, there's no that's probably a difference where you know if someone's celebrating something, they get something a little bit extra. But it is their birthday. You know, they deserve to have a candle on their birthday. Um, But saying that, the Michelin inspectors probably don't get that at all because they'll never come in for a celebration because they want to be treated like everyone else. They want to have the same experience and they fight for that same experience. Um, they just because they want to be able to tell the people in the guide exactly how their experience was. So
Yeah.
yeah, we don't treat them any different. The only thing if we do suspect someone, if they were, we just want to see we do something called in and out, where we just like to see their plate because we just want to make sure that we document that experience. And for some reason, if we don't get a good rating or a good review, we kind of know, okay, yeah, they left a bit of fat in the duck. They didn't enjoy that skin of the duck. Okay, so we are not confused later on that they go, oh, the duck was a bit fatty.
Yeah.
So and chewy. That's the only sort of thing that you can do from that point. They're a diner. We offer a tasting menu. Uh, it's a little bit different if you have an a la carte restaurant. It's actually harder because you don't. They are choosing their own journey, where I am choosing your journey for you in this dining room. But uh, that's the way I want to do it. I want to make sure everyone because I basically created this restaurant in an experience that I love. And I don't like choices because my wife always ends up choosing the better things. And I go, oh, damn, I wish I got that. And and that's not a nice feeling to have. I think the journey that you should have is that everyone is on that same journey with you. And you can talk about it and you can go, oh my God, yeah, that duck, that quail, that chicken, whatever it is. And you're all going through the same journey. So the ums and ahs and the are all at the same time, rather than them having to choose their main course or them having to choose their dessert. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a hard system, but that's kind of why we do it because there's something to chase. There's a goal to, and there's a recognition to tell where you're at, and so that's what's really fantastic about it. Because now that we got one, the next goal is to get two.
Yeah.
So and that keeps you driven every day and you learn from it and you become better and that's the whole idea. I've got a team of people in the kitchen and a team of people in the front of house that want to be better. And by having those goals there, it's important because the New York Times doesn't go to every single restaurant. They don't review every restaurant. Eda doesn't review every restaurant. I've been doing HÜSO for years now, and I haven't even got one publication apart from the Michelin Guide come in and post about us. So
Hmm.
it's important. It's important because not every restaurant can be rated on a high level rating system.
Yeah. Have you ever had somebody from the front of house come to you and go, "Hey, there's a diner over there taking a lot of pictures and taking a lot of notes on their phone"?
The thing is, that's every diner. So we
That's
can't
true
shoot.
nowadays. Yeah.
It'd actually be weird if they weren't taking photos.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true with,
We
Instagram and everything. Everybody's taking pictures, everybody's taking
Yeah,
notes.
and I love it because if I take pho and I don't yeah, I take photos because I wanna show my friends, I wanna remember the dining experience. It's an experience, you wanna be able to live those memories and, um, photos notes, not so much. I mean, there's some people that do notes, but you don't know if they're making notes or text messaging, but like I said, we treat everyone with that sort of high awareness, and it's kind of nice because it's like, you tell the front of house that everyone's a VIP, everyone needs to be looked after, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's our standard, and it's easier for them, and it's better for us to just know that that's how we that's our mentality of treating all of our guests.
Yeah. Earning a Michelin star, as much as the chef is individually recognized, it really is a team achievement. You can't do it without the front of house and back of the house working in concert together. So, how did you rally and prepare your brigade for this goal of earning a Michelin star, especially given the higher service precision that Michelin requires?
Have you watched my restaurant wars?
Yeah, I have. I have. So a lot like that then. So Top Chef kind of helped you with that.
Well, I mean, I think you kind of got like an insight of how I run and operate a restaurant. It's
Sure.
just I took over front of house and matriarch, and I wrote everyone's tickets. I wrote everyone's responsibilities. I set up the whole dining room by myself, and I did 5 different dishes as a starter, which usually the front of house is always the dessert because they like to be last.
Mhm.
But I did everything head on. I trust people, and I use my brain more than my hands in those parts, and that's what's more important is that you use your brain because as you keep progressing up, the knife leaves your hand, and you switch that out with a pen or a paintbrush to paint the dining room or get everything repaired. So I've always been prepared for this position, but I have always been heavily involved in front of house. I love front of house. I actually was a server when I was 8 years old, and that's what kind of got me into the industry because I love bringing food to the table and making people happy. So, but I ended up in the kitchen because I love that art and that thrill and that drive of the kitchen. And so when HÜSO Uptown, um, the original HÜSO opened up, there was no staff members, so you can only fit 2 to 3 people. So you have to learn how to do more than just cooking. You have to be times where you're serving, you're cooking, you're talking to guests, all that sort of stuff. So I spent years learning those sort of skills, but not only that, but also going into different Michelin star restaurants throughout my whole career because I love going to eat at them. But there never was a time where I went to a Michelin restaurant just to feed myself. As a chef, I was always it's always like an excursion, learning, you know, going out there to do learning experience. So whenever I sat down, I was very observant. I was like a Michelin inspector. I looked at how they came to the table, how they approached. Um, did they serve me from the left? Did they serve me from the right? Did they notice that my guest was left-handed? How was the toilet up kept? How was the tablecloths ironed correctly? And so I'll learn all these different methods and things just from eating at these restaurants. And then I use those sort of skills onto display as like an extension of my career, really. I never really closed doors on anything that made um, getting a restaurant important. I looked at every single facet. I know how to polish glasses. I know how to wash dishes. I know how to iron tables. I know how to um, do do cuddle drops, which we call it. We say we hug the customer, so we're not putting our elbows in their faces. So I know a lot of those different things, and I enjoy doing those things. I'm enjoying. I am heavily involved in the wine program. I'm heavily involved in everything cocktails, um, to do with the cocktail program as well. But I am involved in the front of house meeting, and yeah, I watch all of them serve the tables, and there's things that need to be corrected. and so I'll let them know about it, and I'll let the general manager know about it. So it's a it's an incredible learning journey, and I'm still learning through it, and I love it.
Yeah. So, talking about Top Chef and Restaurant Wars and kind of learning through that and how to run your restaurant as for a Michelin star, Top Chef gives you the public platform, Michelin gives you the critical cachet. How do those two forms of visibility influence each other for you? And how do you manage the expectations that come from both?
It's fantastic. It's I couldn't have played it any better. Having 2 Top Chef wins and then getting a Michelin star is just so much special because you have a l when you get a if I just got a Michelin star from the back, just from what I'm doing, no one I mean, there'll be people that care about it, but not this much. I feel people, even though I'm off the show, they're still rooting for me to do better, be better, get better, and I know that, I can feel it. I see it from the guests, they're proud, they're happy, they're like they knew that I can do these sort of things, and when that happened, I feel like they felt they feel like they know me enough to that it was like a close friend winning that achievement, and I have all my guests come in and I talk to them all, and they feel like they have that personal connection from coming in and dining and talking, and to see this place grow into a Michelin star restaurant, they feel like they've been on that journey as well, and I feel like a lot of people have been on that journey ever since because there's only been 2 winners after me, and I've literally spent those 2 years building out this restaurant. So from World All Stars to now, this has been the journey. This has been my off-camera journey, to get to this point.
Yeah, I remember when I saw the announcement that you had won a Michelin star, I felt like I was that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he snaps and points at the TV, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Hey, I know that guy." And it
yeah,
does kind of for you especially, yeah, a Michelin star in and of itself is great, and it raises the profile of the restaurant. But being coupled with being on Top Chef and having that kind of worldwide audience, knowing who you are and going, "Oh, yeah, we're on this journey with you," like you said, like we feel like we're a part of that as we saw you
yeah.
grow on Top Chef and dominate the show, and then come out of that and just like continue on that winning streak. It was just amazing, amazing to watch.
If
Speaking
it
of,
so, but mind you, bump you there. If it wasn't for Top Chef, this journey would have been so much harder. I'm just gonna say that.
yeah, yeah,
It's put me on a platform or a pedestal for where people understand my food and want to come dine at it. I could not achieve this without them.
right.
Like 100%. This is New York City. There's thousands of restaurants with and a ton of restaurants with a ton of recognition that uh, where people are much more secure in putting their money at rather than trusting someone that they don't know. But because I do have that 2-time Top Chef win, it helped me astronomically. I don't sometimes the dining room will be filled with 90% of fans, and they help me achieve this. There's no one like they they get owed 100% to that credit because without them in the dining room, we'll be shut before the Michelin Guide even comes out. And that's what's important because now that we do have a an amazing achievement and recognition, people are going to come in now. But because of the Top Chef fans, they're the ones that help keep the lights on.
Yeah, yeah. They say when you win a Michelin star, business immediately increases by 20%, 1 star. And then you win 2 stars, it goes up 40%. If you win 3 stars, it doubles your business. They featured one restaurant where he was looking at his reservations on his phone as he was walking out of the ceremony after winning a star, and the reservations just spiked, went straight up on the graph. Did you find that with HÜSO after your announcement that you looked down at your reservations and did you see a noticeable spike in reservations?
Yes, I mean, it's even happening now. I didn't have time to look at my phone after the announcement. There's so many things happening, but I finally got a chance yesterday to have a look at it, and I was like, "Damn, it's it's we used to be booked up but like now it's like weeks of getting booked up. So really, really cool, really excited, and we're just ready. We we have an experience like no other in New York City. We're trying to be very different uh to other restaurants in New York City, and we're happy to be that restaurant where they spend their hard-earned money to be looked after and walk out and say, "This is amazing."
Yeah. Yeah. So let's look to the future. Earning a star, earning you going from 0 stars to 1 star, there's an immense amount of pressure to do that. But they say the pressure is even worse now because you've got the star and now you have to retain it. So the goal obviously is to get more stars, but do you feel that pressure? I mean, it's only been a couple of days, but do you already kind of feel that pressure of retaining the star over the course of the year? I mean, we've seen some high profile restaurants recently lose a star, Alinea being the biggest name, I think, losing a third star after however many years of having 3 stars, and people were kind of aghast about that. So is the pressure now on to retain before you even kind of start going for the second one?
Um, no, there's no like pressure to retain because that's not our goal. Our even if we do lose a star, the goal was never 1 star. There was never 2 stars. The goal was 7 stars here. We have an ethos here where we say we're going for 7. We say it before service. We ask the staff how many, everyone responds 7. And I came up with this uh, sort of mentality because I don't want to put myself in a box. I don't want to say, "Oh, this is a 1 star restaurant. Is this a 1 star dish? Is this 1 star service?" My guests don't deserve people only hitting a certain ceiling and then going, "Okay, but you got your 1 star experience, and then we're gonna go from that." We're gonna go for 7. And why 7s? Because if you double it and you add another one on top, um, that's how far we wanna go. And it doesn't matter what rating we get, that's the mentality every time. And if you keep having that mentality, no matter what part of your career or how far this restaurant's come, we've always still got this goal. Like, is this 7 stars? Is this plate 7 stars? Is this silverware, this service, is that flower decoration representing 7 stars? And we ask ourselves every single day. And so the pressure of losing one doesn't really come to your mind when you're aiming for something so like so much further and farther. If you're like aiming for the sun, are you really going to go back and go, "Oh, well, what happens if I land back in the water?" Well, I'm aiming for the sun and I'm going to keep going for it. And that's the mentality that we got. I mean, of course there's a huge pressure and it would really suck if we were to lose our star in the first year, but um, we want to keep going because we do believe we have a great restaurant, a great service and product that we do, and we're very passionate about the dining experience that we do here. We understand, like we talk about it a lot about what it takes for people to come to this restaurant. 40% of our diners are actually from New York. 60% of our diners actually come from outside of New York. And they fly in and they book that hotel and they get all ready, they get all dressed up, they get that car, they come over. That's a lot of work, and they deserve the experience that they put that work into every single night. And so with that sort of mentality, I don't think retaining one should be the next step. The next step is to show um, that we're 2 to 3 star level, and that's where we want to be. That's the goal. Whether if we get that or not, who knows? But when I did Top Chef, that was never the mentality. It was never the mentality of going, "Oh, I hope I make it to the finals. Oh, I hope I make it into Restaurant Wars.
Hmm.
Oh, I hope I." No, it was always winning. From the moment I got the phone call, it's always winning. And you aim for those sort of goals and you can achieve those sort of goals. You can't go, "Oh, I'm going to lose." And I've been with all those contestants that say they're all going to lose and they lose. And they go out the next episode. They say, "Oh, I'm never going to win." Like Amar was saying that halfway through the season. Is like, okay, I've made it through Restaurant Wars. It's my time to go. And yeah, he ended up going a couple episodes after. He did win the Indian one, but he's like, after he won the Indian one, he's like, okay, I'm done. And you can't, if you come with that mentality, it will serve you that. And our mentality is to go for 7. And we're gonna keep going for that. And it's just like the same mentality that I had with Top Chef with winning. And even if we don't get 3, we don't get 2, we lose 1, at least your head was in the right space rather than having the space of like, oh, I hope we keep that 1, or we're probably going to lose 1, or whatever it is. That's not the mentality. And I've done this my whole life and I've lost a lot of times, but I am so happy I went in with that mentality, because it's better to be positive and hopefully get a positive outcome. The second step is to have a positive mentality, and then there's a negative outcome. But if you have 2 negatives, then that just sucks all around.
Yeah.
So it's all about the mentality.
In other words, go big or go home, right?
Yeah, yeah, and don't be afraid of failing, because failing is a part of life. Like, every single thing that you saw me do right on the show, I have failed 5 times at it. I have failed 5 times at making bread before making bread, and supposedly the best bread on Top Chef. I have sliced my fingers more times than you can see. It's like, you got to make these mistakes in this industry. You're going to make these mistakes in every industry, but you learn from them, and hopefully the camera's on you at the time when you're ready. And they saw me at my peak, not my peak, but at a point where I have gone through all those failures to win. I've lost so many competitions, so many competitions. Like, I still lose competitions. Even though I didn't even apply for the competition, I still lost. In my opinion, like, I s- I haven't been put up for best new chef in food and wine, and so to me, even though I don't apply for it, it says to me that I didn't win that, and that seems to be a prestigious award that most upcoming chefs get. But obviously, I'm not good enough to get that award yet. So in my mind, I got next year. I need to try better, even though I didn't even apply for that competition or that award. It still does feel like a somewhat, you know, I didn't succeed in that area, which I have to try better next year.
Yeah, I think winning a Michelin star though helps you stay warm at night
Yeah,
without having those
it
other ones.
yeah it does. I mean, a Michelin star is an internationally acclaimed award. I can say that I won Top Chef to many of these chefs around the world, and they're all kind of, it's a big deal in America, huge deal here. But if I said I won Top Chef in somewhere in Copenhagen, they go, okay, good on you. But if I say that I have a Michelin star, they're like, oh, chef, come right this way. Like,
Right.
we're gonna we're gonna look after you. You're a Michelin star chef. It's always been the goal. I'm proud to say that I've won Top Chef twice, and now say that I've got a Michelin star. Um, it's a huge achievement, and yeah, it's been a fantastic journey.
Yeah, amazing. So if you can give one concrete piece of advice to a talented young chef that wants to build a Michelin caliber restaurant, what would it be?
Um, so basically, I call it the cash it in, and um, you have to invest in yourself and don't worry about anything else before you cash it in. And by cashing it in, I mean becoming a head chef and start saying, I'm going on this journey to build a restaurant and a Michelin star. Like, everyone doesn't understand. Everyone wants to be the young head chef, the head chef that's got accolades or whatnot. But oh, this 22-year-old head chef, winning accolades, or everyone wants to be a head chef at 25 or something like that. And I find that just ridiculous. I was a head chef at 25, and I find that ridiculous. I won the accolades, and I did perform, but what a waste of time that was. Like, you, in the grand scheme of things, you finish high school or wherever you start in your career, if you start young, and everyone wants to be a head chef at 25. That'll give you, even if you started at a young age, it only gives you like 7 years of experience working for other people. I spent 3 years becoming an apprentice and still feeling very vulnerable and not knowing how to cook everything and doing stuff and learning other people. If you invest that time from 20 to 30 working for other people, not caring about the finances, like I was broke working at these high caliber places. But that was a part of my journey and I learned how to hustle through that. And so I was still very much very thankful for those, times of being underpaid and overworked because it made me to who I am now. I feel like I can navigate through life very easily. But that is a very important time. Don't miss out. Don't skip out on that time. Don't because once you become head chef, you don't learn anything. You're
Mm.
the teacher. And 10 years out of your whole career, and if you hope to be a chef, like your Wolfgang Puck's era, like 70 something years old, that's a lot of time where you didn't learn and you were a chef.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of time. If you're saying that Wolfgang, yeah, I believe he started when he was young, like 14 years old, and let's say he became a head chef, he put 15 years into his career learning from other people, and then 40 of those years afterwards is not learning, and you're the director. It's a very small time to invest, and I would say go to all those restaurants, learn all those things, go out, eat, dine, learn it, and it's not something that it's something that you are fighting for every day. It's not something that you can just a Michelin star journey is not an overnight sensation. You can't just say, "Oh, hey, I'm going to open up a Michelin star restaurant." Unfortunately, it takes a lot of determination, a lot of sacrifice, and a whole ton of passion to get there. Because I see so many chefs, even at the award ceremony, with dreams of getting a Michelin star and they didn't get one. And it was soul crushing to see because I know that they've also put in the work. But um, yeah, you just need to keep at it and keep questioning it and then work harder. It's not even, and the thing is, like, the Michelin star goes, another advice is that Michelin stars don't, as a chef, is not just what you put on a plate, it goes beyond the plate. It's about how
Mhm.
can you nurture your team? How can you be that therapist and keep them calm under pressure? How can you fix the plumbing in time before service starts? It's all these different things that you just dedicate yourself to. That is not even on the plate. How can you be warm and hospitable to your guests and make them feel like they're at home? I do that every time with all my guests, and it's not that I need to come say hello to everyone, but I do. I make sure I do because it's important for me. It's important for their experience. It's something that they're going to remember. What's a photo for me? It costs me nothing, but for them, it's the world. And I've been on that receiving end where I wanted that photo so badly. You saw me how I jumped on Alan Ducasse, and for some people, I am their Alan Ducasse
Right.
because that's who they grew up with. That's who they watched, and there's no problem in that in that being like that because Alan Ducasse is my Michael Jordan, and for a basketballer, Michael Jordan is huge. He's my Leo Messi, but is Alan Ducasse walking through soccer stadiums and people flooding him? No, but I would. I'd go that way. I'd 100% jump on, and I did. I pretty much look like one of those fans in Miami that run onto the soccer stage and hug Leo Messi. That's how I treated Alan Ducasse. And
Yeah.
so for them, it's important. So I make sure that it's just as important for me to do that.
Yeah, watching you fanboy over Alan Ducasse on Top
Yeah,
Chef on camera was pretty hilarious. So the advice then really is chase the skills and the stars will come. Uh, d-
exactly.
don't focus on I got to be a head chef. Focus on all aspects of the restaurant business. Be good at that, and it'll come. And it'll come
Invest in
to you.
yourself.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself. Like that's it. And I think this does not pertain to just this career. I feel like all careers, most careers, and this is a career where you just cannot rock up and say, "Hey, I'm this gun chef." No, it takes a lot of experience to get to that area.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to leave you the last couple of minutes here and wrap things up. I know you got a busy day ahead of you. Just give you some time to promote your socials. Where can people find you? Where can people follow you? Where can people learn more about HÜSO and make a reservation for 2028? Because I'm assuming you're going to be booked up for the next few weeks and months.
Yeah.
But where can people learn more about you and the restaurant?
So my Instagram and social is Budalo, with 2 dashes between the Buddha and the low. Um, yeah, I generally am on Instagram more than any other social media platform because I feel like my food is very visual, and so it's very pleasing to the eyes. So you're gonna find me posting more on there than like X or Threads because I kind of say my words through my food. And yeah, HÜSO's in Tribeca. We've only been open for 9 months. We've just gained our first Michelin star, and we look forward to the guests coming in. Like, we're super excited. Uh, we cannot wait to show you everything that we're doing, and I'm excited. It's been a long time coming for this restaurant, and we're finally at this point where I'm inviting guests from construction zone to people sitting in the dining room, and I hope everyone has an amazing time while they're here.
Yeah. Again, amazing accomplishment, Chef Buddha. Just congratulations on all of it. The Top Chef wins, the Michelin stars, and thank you so much for your time today and fitting me in. I know it's kind of a last minute booking, but I appreciate you coming onto the pod for a second time. Anybody that comes on more than once, I consider the friend of the pod now. So you have earned the title friend of the pod. So I
Oh,
appreciate you
thank
coming
you.
on.